friends. I am Rob here once more with Magic Chimney back with us once more. And this is the Lair of OmnusI Holiday Special 2018 edition. Now, we've been here in the Lair successfully for over 2 years now. And the very first year we had a holiday special. Unfortunately, we lapsed last year. But this year I thought we would do something special. We have many new subscribers now, and many of you may have missed what happened in previous episodes of the Lair. And one of the things that I did for that was I did a reading of a parody poem that I penned a long time ago. And I thought I would read that for you once more. I kind of enjoy it. It also describes an actual event that's often been played out for my holiday role-playing games. So I thought I would regale you with this little bit of poetry by yours truly. It is called "'Twas the Gaming Night Before Christmas," also known as The Legend of Santa Orc. Please enjoy. 'Twas the gaming night before Christmas, and in the gaming room the players were yakking in the dungeon-like gloom. The players reclined in their nice comfy chairs, wondering what treasures soon would be theirs. In just a few moments the DM appeared. His face had in a grin, with thoughts that were weird. The DM picked up his dice and slung them with conviction. The players grew fearful. What was their Christmas mission? The dungeon was still full of monsters and slime, so they scarcely realized what was coming this time. When what to their characters' ears should resound but a fat orc in a sleigh, pulled by 8 tiny hellhounds. He leaped out of the sleigh, as smooth as pulled pork. They were being confronted by the mighty Santa Orc. The players barked out their orders, their tactics rehearsed. They had no way of knowing this would just make things worse. The fighter charged forward. The mage chanted spells. The cleric chanted a prayer to send this new foe to hell. With a wave of pure magic and a sadistic cackle, the orc knocked the characters down like doomed cattle. He stood now above them. They saw him in good light. They wished that they hadn't. He was quite a sight. His muscles were rock hard. He had magic tattoos. His face looked like something you'd wipe off of your shoes. He reached for his bag, slung over his back. Dropping it down on the thief's gut, he began to unpack. For the fighter a new sword, old blood also included. For the priest a new mantle that looked freshly looted. For the wizard a power ring, no mind the severed finger. For the thief some new poisons with no taste left to linger. Then he rummaged through their things, and he drank all their ale. All the elf's wine too, then said, "Oi, I gots the bail." Then he wobbled to his sleigh, and looked for the reins. If not for the booze in him, on the seat they were plain. As the characters groaned in wonder, and started to rise, Santa Orc cracked the reins against his strong thighs. "On what's-its! On what's-not! On thingamajigger! On... Oi, I'll just shut up now, my hangover'll be bigger!" Off they all flew then, through several dungeon walls, causing slightly less damage than the party's last bar brawl. The players shook their heads, faces twisted in shock. They soon pulled out their pencils and began taking stock. The DM grinned widely and called it a night, handed out the last XPs earned from many a fight. So you who are listening, hear me now and prepare. Santa Orc could be coming, so you'd better beware. A fun little holiday tradition of mine. You see, I enjoy celebrating the holidays with my players, often have. Even holidays that I didn't really celebrate before have taken on a new meaning through gaming. I never was one to really celebrate, for example, St. Patrick's Day. But now any one of my players can tell you that to me it's synonymous with leprechauns and fairy magic for role-playing games, even games where it may not be as appropriate. For instance, in Warhammer 40,000, Death Watch, the players were in a tight battle against Chaos Space Marines. They were badly outnumbered, and it was not going well. The session happened to fall on the session nearest St. Patrick's Day. The players were saved at the last moment by a group of mysterious Space Marines, clad in green and gold, but only standing about 4 feet high, in their power armor. And they used lots of psyker abilities and magic-seeming effects to defeat the heretics that were fighting them. This was the Emperor's Lucky Charms chapter of Space Marines. All Space Marines under 3.5 feet tall, power armor bringing it up a bit, and yes, I had fun with that. But obviously, Christmas time, certainly no different. I enjoy, as a celebration, giving out something to my players' characters. Just a usually not overwhelmingly powerful bit of magic or wonder that their characters would not otherwise have had, but a way to celebrate the season and, let them know that I'm thinking about them. This year, what I got for them was Wonder Putty. To everybody's eye, a simple little jar of Play-Doh. To their characters in 3rd edition or 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, the players can take out the Play-Doh, mold it into a shape, and their character can then get an item of the shape that they form. Kind of like a robe of many items. So if they need rope, for example, to climb, they just take out a piece and roll it up and make a rope out of it. Their character then has a rope to use. Or perhaps they are locked in a prison, and one of them decides to make a key out of it. They might have a key, or at least lockpicks. So, just a relatively minor, simple magical item that all of them can enjoy, and the more creative ones can really get something good out of it. And that's a fun little tradition that we have. Through various times in my career, I have not had the funds to give everybody presents like I wish to, but this has certainly been an ongoing and fun tradition. I usually do the same for birthdays as well, when the players allow me to. So some of them really look forward to it because I get an opportunity to personalize the birthday present to the character and to the player's interests as well. So that's fun. Hopefully the poem hasn't scared anybody away yet. But yes, here at the Lair, we've done a variety of different styles of videos. Looking back on them now, my Ask the Wizard videos I've really enjoyed. I like dressing up. I have a theater background. I've been in Shakespearean plays. I've been in not big budget productions or anything. It's just a small college productions that I was a part of. But I greatly enjoyed that. I love being in front of an audience and feeling the energy and giving it out in a performance and relying on my fellow actors for cues and lines and so on. And role-playing is a little bit like that, really. It definitely helps to scratch the itch, fill the void that, since I don't do that anymore, I admittedly feel. So, even though it's impromptu theater, it's still an opportunity for me to act and get into characters, although, more sporadically. Usually they're non-player characters or monsters, so don't get quite as much time to do so. And really develop a character of my own, but it all works out in the end. But when I do a character for a role, like Lord Cadrian de Flynn of Ask the Wizard, by writing out scripting lines and approaching the world building as well as the character design, for me that's very much like a role in a play of some sort. So that's what I get out of this. Also, of course, as an actor, I live for the applause of my audience. So, you watching this efforts that I do is, that's my thanks that I get for this. So, I appreciate every single one of you who takes the time out of your busy schedules to watch me do something, whether it's dress up like a wizard and answer your questions or, whatever. So. Also, let's see, we are going to be getting back to some criticism. If any of you have any titles that you want me to go over and expose for everyone's interest or critique, I happen to have a very useful alternate ego, my Omnus critic, who is perfect for such things. And already thinking that someone has called out some retro clone games that may have to be looked at. So that's all fodder for the Omnus Critic. As always, I take any suggestions or anything you'd like to see into account with anything that I do. Anybody who has sent me a question for Ask the Wizard, anybody who has singled out a game that they're interested in, I've taken at least a good long look at it, and will make movements to comply with a video highlighting these requests. So as we wind down, I'm very blessed to have had this channel, to have all of you watching it, and I hope that as we go on and into a new year, this will be the year of the dungeon, where I'm planning on expanding out with even more things and hopefully getting to a reliable release schedule, at least a video a week. And also, I'm already doing a podcast a week. I may end up also creating my own podcast. I've long wanted to do a comedy, a fantasy comedy special, which would be an outlet for some of the things that I've wanted to do. So stay tuned for that. In the end, I thought that I would combine a little bit of criticism with one more thing to entertain you. I was fortunate enough earlier this month to run a game at my favorite local gaming store. That game was Kobold Ate My Baby, and I ran the adventure A Very Kobold Xmas. I'm trying to avoid outraging people by calling it Christmas, but we know what we're talking about. So A Very Kobold Xmas, and it's a fun game, very lighthearted. Thank you, Magic Fireplace. You're playing kobolds who aren't very good at just about anything and die in droves, but your ultimate goal is to try not to die and try to accomplish the various missions that are set before you in each scenario. This particular one involved going after Santa Claus, who had kicked the gnomes who were posing as elves out of his workshop because he gave them a limitless budget and plenty of space in his factory for their inventions. And they wanted to get back in. So they got the kobolds to try to take on Santa Claus to get them back in the factory. And one of the options to enforce a reroll by the X-Master, the Game Master, the players could get up and sing a Christmas carol, but it was a kobold Christmas carol. So I thought I would regale you, even though I'm not much of a singer, but these are fun. I thought I would regale you with two quick Kobolds Ate My Baby carols. The first one, very simple. So, we wish you a merry kobold, we wish you a merry kobold, we wish you a merry kobold, fat babies and a beer. That's all a kobold really wants anyhow, isn't it? Alright, the final one, and again, thank you very much for joining me, both now and through various releases that we've had. Santa Claus is getting beat down. Oh, we got us a plan. The gnomes hooked us up, man. We know where he lies. Now he's gonna die. Santa Claus is getting beat down. We'll kick him when he's sleeping. We'll eat him when he wakes. We'll know if he tastes bland or good when we're licking clean our plates. He's got him a list that we're gonna steal. We're gonna find out who will be our next meal. Santa Claus is getting beat down. Santa Claus is getting beat down. Yes, a little bit of how little I take myself seriously for your amusement. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you have a very happy holidays, whichever holidays you ascribe to, and we'll catch you next time here in the Lair of OmnusI. Farewell.